Okay, so because my tutorial last time got cut off because my computer shut down, I just quickly wanted to finish off some other stuff about gradients. So I just wanted to show you what else you can do with them. So if I click on I'm going to turn this little piece of corn with a radial gradient, because you can see in some of these it's kind of got, you know, like a lightness in the middle and it goes out towards being darker on the outside edges. So that might be something that you have in yours as well. So if I come over to this sidebar, I can click on my gradient and I'm just going to quickly pop in the gradient color scheme. So remember, I can just drag this one here, and then this one I can change it. If I go CMYK, I can go and pick a color, maybe like a dark brownish color. I can move the slider along to choose something that I want this way as well. Cool, so that'll probably do. And then I might add another one in here. So if I just hover it there, you can see the little plus sign comes up. So I can click on that, double click here. I'm going to make it white. Now what I'm going to do is turn this to a radial colour. And I'm just going to swap this over so that the white will end up being in the centre. I can play around with those other things later. Now, if I wanted, you can see here the gradient slider comes up. That's just by holding G to be able to make changes on where the gradient sits on the actual object. So I can move this kind of little thing around and have a play until I get the gradient to sit where I actually want it. So it's pretty cool. You can kind of do it larger or smaller, and this way you can kind of get that radial gradient as well. So if I zoom out, you can see it kind of looks like the corn has a little bit of shine in the top, and I might want to go back, hold down G, or tap G, and I can even go and, you know, change things around that way. So yeah, that's the last thing to do with gradients that you might want to have a little play around with, and you can do it all on the actual object itself. So that's quite a good tool to use. The next thing I want to do is just have a little go with the Curvature Tool. So this is a way that we can, instead of using the shapes and your fill and stroke to change colours, we can use a tool that will trace the image that we've got here. So the Curvature Tool is up here. It's really quite easy to use. So I'm just going to show you how you can use it. Basically what you do is you just click and create new anchor points. And what it will do is start filling. I'm just following along until I get the kind of anchor point where I want it. I'm going to quickly go and change this colour. See, I'm just going to turn it so that I don't have a fill while I'm doing this. Now what I want to do is, when I use this tool, I need to make sure that the shapes that I make are closed off. So that means that they come round full circle, and that they aren't left open. And the reason that we need to do that is so that we can add a fill colour in, and that if you don't have the shape closed off, it'll be really hard to do that. So this is quite easy to use. I'm just going to go up and make this one. I'm basically just making shapes that are going to end up being all the same colour. So right now I'm going to end up colouring this one in a nice light green. And just so you know, if you've got a corner, what you need to do is double click on the last anchor point, and then you can see you can change direction really easily. I also find that when I'm closing something off, I just double click it. Now you can see that that's a full shape, and I can then go and swap and put a colour into it. I'm just going to use the colour picker and grab a nice light green. In fact, that green, I want a more subtle one. There you go. So I've just used the shape tool to go around and do the first shape there. The next one I'm going to do is this bit on the top. And I just want to show you how I would do this. I'm going to change the colour straight away, just so that it's easier to work with, maybe a little bit darker. And then when I grab the curvature tool, I want to zoom in here, and I'm going to start about here. And it's just going pretty good. Now I can just, it doesn't matter what I do with the tool in that section, because I'm going to end up putting this leaf behind the objects that you can see here. So right now I'm just following this line along. Oops, just make sure you don't click on a path. Just start that bit again. Just need to double click here so I can turn the corner. Computer's starting to go very slowly. Click here, click here, and then I'm going to close it off there. So now it's a full shape. And what I want to do is just make sure that that green path goes behind the other leaf. So all I do is go Object, Arrange, and I'm going to go Send backward. And then when I grab my black mouse and click off, you'll see that it goes behind the one that I have put there. Okay, so that's the way that you can use the curvature tool. So you might want to have a go of doing that now.